Hello, Divergents, and welcome to another daily dose of your podcast. Can you handle the truth? Is it that fascinating? The truth. Well, I don't doubt that you all got to this YouTube channel in a search for answers and the solution to the global circumstance that we have been subject to. Not just this year, but our entire lives. You see, what begins with a gut feeling ends with the knowledge obtained from the facts that has been transferred from the amount of files that you can find it along the internet, Facebook mainly. And those facts have been established, you see. That is the greatest landmark of the case from Baron David Ward. You see, what give rise to a trivial parking charge notice resulting in the exposing of a fraudulent and ruthless system that has survived only on fraud and deceit, and as endured by the lack of awareness on our part. As I recall, between June 2020 and the following years, I, like Baron David Ward and many others, we were tormented by the clear observation that all 8 billion people on this planet have a right to know the truth. It's that way of seeing and knowing things as for what they are that makes us want to go and continue to spread the word. It's the amount of people that still argue day in and day out about this or that, not realizing that you have to understand the world that we are living in. It doesn't matter if you just read the posts or if you just read the affidavit. No, you have to see it for what it is. You have to feel it in your bones, you see. It's not just a matter of how far you've gone in the path, because this path will stay with you forever. It won't leave you if you do not get yourself distracted and be fooled again to enter the matrix, like in the movie The Matrix, Cypher did. You have to always be on the lookout. You always have to pay attention to the things that are being said and not said. I think those are the most important ones. I would like to point out again, to whom it may or even may not concern, that again, there is no law. What we have is just man-made laws. And we could say it's dog shit wrapped in cat shit and sprinkled with some bird shit. If you want to have a laugh, go ahead, because It is what it is. If you have been listening to the podcast so far and you have gained any insight, if I have assisted you in turning over a rock and discovering the truth, or reading the affidavit, something that you have not read yet, then I ask you please to take your time and stay with us until the end. I have been at this for 3 years now, almost into 4 years. And I've watched thousands and thousands of hours of Baron David Ward's videos. And I've read many of his posts in the groups just to be able to bring them into this podcast so that his work will never be lost. At least that's my aim. On my journey, nothing has brought me closer to the truth than this document. This information right here is the information that is the most occult. There is no one else that teaches this information, especially like this, because Baron David Ward had a unique way of presenting the facts. Very simple in layman's terms, as you would say. And this is it. This is it. This is what they don't want us to know and understand. There is no other video or no other podcast that will offer you the actual inherent intrinsic truth of the natural reality around us. If we really want to change the world for the better, if we really want our children and grandchildren to have a world of peace, love, understanding, care, humility, kindness, and true spirit, this is the only knowledge that can lead us there. This is the knowledge that Baron David Ward's affidavit that he tried to teach, and many of us continue to do so. If everyone understood the affidavit, slavery would be impossible in any form. The struggle is real, folks. This is what all children should be taught. Every single one in every single land. It is irrefutable and undeniable. It levels the playing field for all people. No division. I do invite you, if you have Facebook, to go and read the comments of people that have already been serving the affidavit in the Liens in the groups. We know that it's a long journey, and it is a lonely one too. But nothing has given me more clarity, more freedom, more purity, more confidence in who I am and what I am to do as the affidavit. Understanding this knowledge, no one can ever, ever take that away from you or from me. I know if you really understand the affidavit, you will feel the same. The fruit is at the end. Take the time. This is truly the path to true spiritual enlightenment. The truth is, it needs to be read several times. And when I say spiritual enlightenment, I'm not talking about those frou-frou, la la la, people, new age bullshit. No, no. It comes from within, and it comes from you. And it's you that are now in a position of saying, okay, enough is enough. Enough is enough for me. Not because anyone else is telling me, but because I feel it. Because now I know that I never consented. Now I know that I never, ever, ever give my power of attorney away. So these facts should make you, on its own, they should make you feel the true power that you hold. Don't stress and stay focused. Lots of sleep is recommended too. If you haven't read it before, your mind is going to be blown. If you have read it before, well, read it again. But this time, make the effort to really read it. Stop when you don't understand what you are reading. Go and research a word. Think about of that one paragraph that is already making the change for you to unlearn something that you think that you knew. We need the numbers. We need people to know. How else are they going to know? If you don't know, how can you explain it to others? You may think that judges are independent public servants exercising delegated authority. Well, no, that is a monstrous lie. Judges are neither independent nor are they servants of the people. They lie about protecting. What does this mean? With the pretend that legal sanction is not independent, and without the legal sanction, which is a base criminal, this is a problem for the state and its representatives, as there is no way to resolve this issue. The solution in their world is intimidation, violence, and the usual political drivel. If you don't like it, then appeal it. This is such a great line to hear, especially when factually there is nothing to appeal. And appeal means to beg. Another interesting fact is that weren't all judges lawyers before they become judges? Weren't all the judges swear an oath to be lawyers to the bar, and then they swear another oath to be judges? I wonder where the conflict of interest may reside. It's funny, isn't it? When you start thinking and seeing things just how they are. So, what type of allegiance are you defending, protecting? Is it to your first oath? Is it to your second? Which one is it? I'm getting a little bit confused here now. Yeah, that's just me confusing things. Let's look at the word beg. If you go to thesaurus, it says that the words appeal and beg have a similar meaning. Beg is a synonym. Yeah, let me see if I can get this right. This is very similar in Portuguese. It's a synonym. Yeah, I must be saying this with my unique. Hang on a minute, guys. I need to compose myself because I just laugh at myself so badly. I'm sure that my dear Mia will help me in the comments to pronounce it right. Synonym for appeal in behavior topic. In some cases, you can use beg instead of the verb appeal. When it comes to topics like request, appeal for, you see? Yeah. Independence and justice is a joke. Okay? If the judge has a political oath of allegiance, just as the plaintiff's attorney and the defendant's attorney, then how can there be any true independence when he shares the same oath of allegiance with the very same system that is attacking you in the first place or supporting and facilitating that attack? Wow. You see, the judge has full judicial immunity. So where did it came from? It was either a delegated authority, has the system claim in their world, or was he a surfer that hallucinated into the real world? I think I will go for the last one. Yeah. Well, let's see what the fact tells us. The Lord Chief Justice, Sir Jack Beatson, confirmed the fact that the office of the judiciary is a sub-office of the state. So anybody above him in that company, the hierarchy, in the executive office, the Lord Chief Justice himself has got no jurisdiction over. So the janitor of the school cannot be superior to or above the headmaster. And the Lord Chief Justice is the Jennifer. The Jennifer, yeah, the Karen, the janitor. So therefore, everybody in that executive office of government, you see my hands are up again, everybody, every MP, every county council, every borough, everybody in the police, social services, everyone you can think of that is in that government office are in the executive office. And the judge cannot preside over them because he does not have the, you guessed it, authority. So there is no court on the planet where there can be a hearing where the judge can preside over someone who is his boss. And this is why we should never, ever, ever go to their courts. It is all economics anyway. And it is all coming out of the public purse. These people are not a government. They are just out and outright criminals. The affidavit is the confirmation from the executive office that they are not a government. You can see it on Exhibit B. If you keep walking into that courtroom, then you are walking into an office run by criminals. You see? And why do people keep going into a court run by criminals? It's an oxymoron. Can you see that? So don't do it. Why would you go and plead the cases? Plead for what? Put motions into court for what? Do you still believe in justice? Do you still think that exists after we presented you with the facts? Well, if you do, it's on you. You should know better. They tell you. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you're going to play in their courts, if you're going to play their games, of course, you have to know the 8,000 million whatever statutes, acts, and whatever that apply or don't, or whatever. So I don't care, because my foundation tells me that I never consented to it. And it's not just the fact that I was born into this plain planet, whatever that is going to make me, accept for face value. No, thank you very much. I don't want it. So stay out of that office, because it is not a court of law. It has got absolutely nothing to do with law. It is a private company office, basically the same as McDonald's. So stay out of that office. And if you can, stay out of McDonald's as well. Period. It's like this. We are talking about gaining authority over you, your actions, your words and deeds. If you walk into that courtroom sub-office of your own volition, in other words, you are not there under duress. If you walk into that room, you step 1 foot into that room, then your actions have agreed that the judge has got authority, and you are ruined at that point. If you go and play their game, bringing your own rules, you are screwed. They want you to play the game accordingly to their rules. That's why they all have these Mackenzie friend kind of thing, and there is another term they use when you I can't remember now, but it will come to me. But they all have all these sort of things in play, and they have fun with you, because they look at you and they go like, this guy is completely clueless of what he's doing here. He doesn't know anything about anything. So either we are going to play with him a little bit more, like playing with our food, and then we just ditched him in some place, some prison, something. You see? So why playing that game if you know nothing about that game? And they tell you in your face, you don't know nothing about that game. They invented, they train themselves to do that. They train among themselves to act in those roles, and you never did. You never had a role play. You see, in school, they never teach you how that area works for a reason. That's why they want to keep you like that. It is important to note that the contempt of court restrictions in the civil section, it says the following: a judge cannot implement the use of force in a civil matter. So, by their own rules, a judge cannot implement the use of force in a civil matter, because to implement the use of force is an act of terrorism, and their very own contempt of court reporting restrictions restricts the judge, and the judge absolutely knows this. But do you know? Do you know this? So it is quite clear that when a judge, any judge or magistrate, is set in their subordinate office to a principal legal embodiment, then that judge or magistrate is not fit and proper person to sit in judgment of any other principal legal embodiment, and has no authority. Go and check the graphic on the affidavit. Study that graphic. Learn that graphic. The principal legal embodiment. Who is it? What is it? What is it for? Those are the answers that you need to start doing in the groups. Those type of answers, so you can dismantle a little bit more and be sure to stand in your power with your certainties. In Baron David Ward's own words, I will read you something that he used to say. The judge can take a long walk off a long pier. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Or take one and do a runner, monkey boy. Because this is how it is. In my own experience, most company state representatives do not openly drop groundless cases and admit they were wrong. Even when they have been presented with the facts and have agreed by their own silence that they have no evidence whatsoever. And this is because the state has plenty of heavily armed troops on the payroll, are always long on opinion and short on facts. And they do not like to be questioned. Especially, they hate being questioned on their phony authority, their alleged right to dominate and steal from other men, women, and children. In Ham parliaments and governments jibber jabber, the opinions and mental conceptions held by the representatives of this so-called state are the law. My ends are up again. And those opinions are never incorrect. Hence, why any challenge from any productive individual is labeled as frivolous or free men on the land, whatever. Only in their la-la land can a question or a request for evidence be deemed a baseless legal argument and frivolous. You see? you have to understand that. Come on, you're just a peasant. What are you talking about? Questioning us? No, 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 no. I wonder if there is a certain school for these people where they are actually taught to respond to formal challenges each and every time with something along the lines of the correspondence contains nothing but frivolous arguments and has been forwarded to our complaints team. If this is even a thing, yeah? So, regardless of what the correspondence actually says, I write this because I have seen this so many times. And the one lately is the templates, the internet templates. Oh my god, seriously? Come on, where do you take your templates from? Let me guess. You have AI now doing your writing your letters, is it? Well, it still is on the internet, isn't it, you moron? Let's continue. So, only HM parliaments and governments, la la land, can you own property and not own property at the same time. Only in there. You see? Only in HM parliaments and governments, la la land, can you be forcibly taken out of your car, forcibly handcuffed, taken away against your will, you see, and caged for a ransom while simultaneously being read your rights. My hands are up again. Your rights. As if you had any they could give and damned about. You see? God-given rights. Oh, I'm having a laugh today, okay? Only in HM Parliament and government la la land is it possible to have a so-called fair trial hearing based entirely upon violence with a so-called independent, impartial judge who not only represents both the very same party bringing the charge and the defendant, but also testifies against the defendant as if he were the witness. You see? First-hand knowledge. Anyone? Hello? Cuckoo? Anyone there? No. And last one but not least, only in HM parliaments and government la la land is violence equated with good faith and fairness, where violently taking control of another man or woman doesn't offend traditional notions of fair play. If you label violence as jurisdiction, MPs, lawyers, police, politicians, etc., whose very jobs depend entirely upon violence, will probably defend their jobs tooth and nail, but that is to be expected. After having heard of so many other people's dealings with state representatives and research their so-called laws or opinions, I am probably familiar with the majority of political justifications for organized violence. It is very rare for me to hear or read about a justification for their violence that surprises me. There is none. Not in this land and other lands where I've been having talks with. Only in HM parliaments and government la la lands can facts become opinions and then go back to being facts all over again within the same opinion. This is so a host of lawyers acting as judges can ignore the facts and contradict their own rules and sacred laws. In the real world, such actions can be committed in a mental institution as insane. But in HMPG La La Land, you are hailed as an officer of the state, a scholar, and honorable. You know what I have to tell you? What a load of legalistic jibber jabber all day long noise. With this one, I say goodbye and I will see you on our next podcast. I hope you enjoy this one as much as I did. I hope you are having a laugh. And I hope you decide to, well, let's read this again, but this time let's read it differently. Let's see what this lady here with a funny accent is talking about, because English is not her first language. So probably because English is my first language, I will understand better what she's trying to convey. Goodbye, folks, and enjoy your day.